Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we explore the most bizarre moments of our history. Let's get started. If you thought our royals were strange nowadays, you should see what their ancestors were up to. Take the last German emperor, Kaiser Wilhelm II, who had a teenage crush on his mother. He wrote her letters detailing the sexual dreams he had about her. Wilhelm, who happened to be Queen Victoria's grandson, tried to win his mum over by telling her he dreamed of kissing her, among other disturbing things. She obviously didn't take him up on his advances and just corrected his grammar. Author Victor Hugo was so popular with the local sex workers. When he died, every brothel in Paris closed down for a day of mourning. Victor, who wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame, was a celeb in Paris and was pretty obsessed with sex. He was such a loyal customer that all the city's sex workers had the chance to pay their last respects to him. One account even claimed that some workers draped their genitals in black material as a sign of respect. King Charles had a plethora of royal mistresses, including actress Nell Gwyn, who gave one of her rivals a laxative laced cake to sabotage her relationship with the king. Moll Davis was one of King Charles's most famous courtesans and even had a daughter with him. Nell arrived on the scene a little later, and when it came to becoming the king's favorite, she played dirty. Moll was given the laxative before she left to enter the king's chamber, and well, the laxative did its thing. Not long after the king gave Moll a house in Westminster and dismissed her, while Nell went on to have 2 sons with him. Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein, had sex in the graveyard her mum was buried in. Shelley spent a lot of time visiting her mother's grave in St. Pancras churchyard and had a big interest in life and death. When she met her future husband, Percy, she took him along to the graveyard, and that's where they got it on. Irish author James Joyce wrote some pretty kinky love letters about farts. When Joyce was away in Italy, he wrote letters to his partner Nora, and he did not hold back. He explicitly detailed almost every sex act you could think of, and mentioned farting during sex a lot. He really put the NS in NSFW. When he was 27, author Edgar Allan Poe married his 13-year-old cousin. Edgar's dad and Virginia's mum were siblings. They lived together in a family home before they were publicly married in 1836, and Virginia's age was listed as 21. She died at 24, and critics believe that The Raven was inspired by her illness and death. King Tutankhamun was mummified with a boner. You heard it right. When his embalmed body was discovered, his penis stood upright. Historians believe that it was arranged like this deliberately to symbolize the political struggle of Egypt at the time. When Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel, he added in a bunch of secret messages, including what some believed were insults to the Pope. The fresco has hidden messages from Jewish tradition, symbols of the female anatomy, and what some historians have interpreted as direct insults to the Pope who commissioned the piece. Basically, Michelangelo was trolling, 15th century style. Ancient Egyptians believed that the god of creation birthed the world by masturbating and viewed it as a magical act. The belief was that Atum, whose name comes from the word completion, was alone on the planet until he ejaculated, and all the living creatures were made. Mozart composed a song which literally translates to "lick me in the arse." The prodigy wrote the canon as a party piece for his friends. While the literal translation sounds pretty raunchy, "Leck mich im Arsch" is the equivalent of "kiss my ass," so it's not quite as outrageous as you might think. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.